All right, let's dive in. Today we're talking about Genghis Khan, but probably not in the way you're used to. We're digging into a really fascinating source that completely reframes his story, connecting him all the way back to ancient Korea and, well, a pretty unique destiny for all of us today.
So, when you think of Genghis Khan, what comes to mind? The great warrior, right? The conqueror, the founder of the massive Mongol Empire? That's the story we all learn. But what if that's just chapter 1? What if there's a whole other story that's been waiting to be told?
And here it is, the central claim from the source we're looking at today. It just comes right out and says it. Genghis Khan is a descendant of our people. Now that is a huge statement, and believe me, it's not just some random historical tidbit. This one idea is the key that unlocks a whole new way of looking at history, our ancestors, and what we're all supposed to be doing right here, right now.
Okay, so first up, beyond the legend. This is all about getting a new perspective on these big historical figures. Before we can even get to that claim about Genghis Khan's lineage, we kind of have to reset how we think about the past in the first place.
You know how we tend to put historical figures up on these pedestals, like they're untouchable legends? Well, this source says that's exactly the problem. The argument is, if we just worship them, we're stuck. We can never be as great as them. The real way to honor them, it's to see what they did, learn from it, and then do it better. To surpass them. That's true respect.
And that brings us to the core of it, the hidden lineage. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of connecting Genghis Khan back to ancient Korea. And it's a claim that really does kind of redraw the historical map we thought we knew.
So here's the assertion, plain and simple. Genghis Khan's bloodline, his ancestry, goes all the way back to Gojoseon, which was the very first ancient kingdom of Korea. And you've got to understand, this isn't just a fun fact for a history quiz. According to this source, it is everything. It's the foundation for the entire spiritual argument that follows.
So look at this timeline. It's not just a list of famous names and dates. It's presented as a kind of spiritual relay race. You've got Gojo-sun setting the stage, then Siddhartha, who became the Buddha, then Jesus, then about 1,000 years after him, Genghis Khan. Each one is a crucial link in this long chain, and according to this view, it's all leading up to something, the mission of the people alive today, specifically modern Koreans.
So if these giants of history were just links in a chain, what was their job, really? What was their ultimate purpose? This next part, Shoulders of Giants, totally redefines what we think our ancestors were here to do. This quote just nails the central metaphor. He is a person who went to build the stage on which we can be active. Think about that. People like Genghis Khan, they weren't the stars of the show, not the main event. They were the stage crew. All their work, all their struggles and their sacrifices, it was all just to build the stage. For us, so that we could be the ones to finally step into the spotlight. So you can see the two roles here, right? On one side, you have the ancestors, prophets, conquerors, all of them. They're the stage builders. Their work, it's done. On the other side, you have us, the modern generation. We're the main actors. And our job isn't to just repeat their lines or perform the same play over again. Our job is to step onto that stage they built and create something totally new, something even greater. And this is where things get really deep. We're moving into the spiritual heart of this whole thing, a divine destiny. This section is all about a very specific identity and a very urgent mission that this source says belongs to the Korean people in this moment. A key piece of this puzzle is this term, Hongik Ingan. It basically means a person whose entire purpose is to broadly benefit the human world. And in this way of thinking, it's not just some philosophical feel-good concept. No, it's a job description. It's the mission statement for a whole new type of global leadership. So, where does this mission come from? Well, it's seen as divinely ordained. The source uses the word Chen-san, which means descendants of heaven, to describe modern Koreans. That title is a big deal. It signifies they weren't just born by accident into this era, they were born for this era, to carry out one last incredibly important task for the world.
Okay, check out this hierarchy. It's pretty fascinating. At the very top, you have Hanini, which you can think of as the universe, or great nature, or God. But look at what's number 2. It's the Tronsen, the modern generation. And where are the revered ancestors, like Buddha, Jesus, and Genghis Khan? They're at number 3. The people living today are placed above them. That's how important their present-day responsibility is considered to be.
Wow. Okay, this quote is probably the most powerful and maybe even shocking claim of all. We are the highest gods in this universe, who came to this land to do our final work. Now, before you dismiss that as just arrogance, in the context of this philosophy, it's meant as a statement of ultimate responsibility. The idea is that the people alive today carry the highest divine potential to finally finish the job that all of history has been building towards.
So, what is this final work they're supposed to do? Well, it's about a fundamental shift from the past. It's about a new era that requires a totally different kind of leadership, wisdom over force. So you have these two distinct eras, right? The past era, that's Genghis Khan's time. The method was simple: rule by force, by power, conquer continents. But the source argues that that time is over. We're in a new era now, and the method for this era isn't force, it's wisdom. The goal isn't to conquer anyone, it's to guide all of humanity toward peace and prosperity.
So how do we get there? According to this source, it's a pretty clear path, but it's all about a change in mindset. First, you have to stop kneeling and praying to the past. Stop worshiping those old heroes. Instead, you've got to realize your own greatness, right here and now. And then you put that to work, doing things that actually benefit the whole world. That, it claims, is the real path to world peace.
And that leaves us with this final big question. If the source argues that the only way to truly honor our ancestors is to surpass them, by moving from an age of force to a new one of wisdom, what does that actually look like in practice? What does that new path to global peace look like in the real world? It's a pretty big challenge, right? It asks us to rethink not just our history, but our own role in shaping the future.